Well, damn. Well, thank you very much. You guys ready? You ready for what?
Oh,
I
Jack,
had
you're
myself
muted.
muted. Damn it. Sorry. I said kick-ass intro here. This will be the day of technical difficulties. I swear to God.
Seems that way.
But that's the beauty of podcasting. It's the same as music. You need to learn how to roll with it. It's like
Indeed.
in drumming as well. I don't know if you've ever played live.
Not a little bit of guitar, yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
when you screw things up, you just go with it. Yeah, you just keep
You
rolling.
have
You
to
can't
keep
stop. No
going.
matter what, you can't stop.
No matter what. That was one of the first
Break a
things I
string,
learned.
keep going. Doesn't matter. Figure it out.
Yeah, one of the first things I learned as well. It's like no matter what, you do not stop. But speaking of not stopping, we have Chad Twisler Stroke kicking it off with the $10 generous. Thank you so much, Chad. And I mean, it's the beginning of the show. It's just me and Moff, so that's a tenner. You get the clip, Chad. You get it. Evening, Jack. Hello, Chad. Morning, everyone else. Sending early because reception spotty on the river. Caught an early run salmon. Now switching to trout. Have a great day and weekend, guys. I just saw the photo, Chad. It looks amazing. I hope you enjoy your weekend. I hope you enjoy fishing and all the best. I've got Moff with me today. I've got Nuke in the green room who is doing his settings, and Art's just popping in and out with a little bit of lag. There he is. There's Nuke. Give me a thumbs up if I can add you. Yes. There he is, Mr. Published Author himself. Hello. And he's muted. I told you.
Tough.
This is the day. This is the stream. We're waiting. You're still muted.
Hi.
Hello. We've been waiting anxiously of what words you decide to bless us with, Mr. Published Author. How does it feel?
I forgot that I wrote a book like this morning. I have to remind myself, like, oh yeah, I did that. I forgot.
I know,
So-
right? Feels cool. I'm getting yours next week, and I can't wait to put it next to mine. Where it's like, yeah, the next generation, man. Now Moff needs to write one.
Oh man, I'm a talker, not a writer, man. Like I can do it off the head, but man, when I try to put pen to paper, I can't even tweet very well. I just say stupid shit. It's just like, I don't know.
I
It's
do
all
that
good
all
coming out of the
the time.
mouth, but I don't know, man. I read some of the stuff you guys write, and I'm just like, holy shit, I could not articulate in the way that you guys could, but I can yammer on about nothing for as long as somebody puts me in front of a camera. So there's got to be something there.
I'm glad you're here then, because every now and then I run out of words to say. But
Yeah.
and with the tweeting, I don't know. It's like it's mostly just brain farts where it's like, oh, this sounds intellectual. But the horrible part is you can have the most deeply philosophical tweet with answers to the universe, and it's like 2 likes.
No one reads it. Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
call a bitch out, and it's like, oh, 2 million views.
Million likes. Yeah. Yeah. The biggest tweet I ever did was one of those like, who's gonna tell her? And I
Yeah.
didn't even say anything. And it was 30 million views.
Yeah.
And then I had it was the whole like, I don't know, not to rehash. It's gone now. It's deleted. I'm sure it was screenshotted somewhere, but it was this woman. She had like in her Tinder bio, and it was 42, 43, recently
Mhm.
divorced, really looking forward to this brand new chapter, seeing what's out there. And I was like, oh no, like who's gonna be the one to tell her? Like it's not gonna be that exciting. That's what I was trying to convey, that it's really not going to be that fun. It's not this like brand new adventure that you're going on. Like it's going to be a tough, rough, bumpy road. Like you're in for a ride. And then it just like took off. And then actually her sister found me on Facebook and was just like, hey, I'm XYZ sister. Because like 1,300 followers. Like I didn't think this thing was going to go viral. I didn't block out the name or the face or anything like that. Obviously dumb, because I thought it was just going to get tweeted into the void and no one was going to care.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden her sister's like, "Hey, can you take that down?" I was like, "Yes, I don't care." Like done. Like immediately. I was like, done. And I feel bad, but it is what it is. Like, you
It
just never know.
happens. It's growing pains of an online brand where it's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
take the name out.
Right.
Things like that. Okay, Arch, one more time.
All right, can you hear me?
I can, but I can hear
Little better.
myself too.
But you can't hear me, and there's a big delay.
I can, but
It's
I
not
can't
bad.
hear you.
Oh man,
Coming in hot. really
well, how long is the delay after I speak?
Not very long.
Let's see. Push some random buttons. I could talk very
But-
softly. Let's see.
But
Audio.
we do. But we
But
do
I'm
hear
hearing us come
ourselves.
coming out of your screen.
That's weird.
Like I said, this is
it's
a-
set up to like do this thing. I pushed a bunch of buttons.
Okay. Yeah, it's
One
the
more
it's
thing
the
to try
show
then.
of technical difficulties.
I got a new computer when I
Yeah.
got fired from my last job, and like it was like a,
And now you're muted.
Now I'm muted entirely. Oh,
I can hear myself
hear me at all.
through his.
Well, we can hear you, but your ear.
something with your mic's
phone-
not connecting. Yeah.
because we can hear ourselves too. Okay, now he's muted again.
okay. Now how do I sound?
Much better.
Now I'm muted again.
No,
It's just a
How
little
about now?
delay. It's just a little delay. That's the only thing. I can
Okay.
I'm good with it. We can deal with it.
yeah,
all
we
right.
get, fuck. We're gonna roll.
Excellent.
We're gonna do. There we go. There's a little
What
bit
I
of an
missed?
echo. Well, yeah,
Since we
it's
can hear ourselves, we know where the delay is, so it's fine.
There we go. So this is what we're going to talk about today, because of course the internet lost its mind again about hypergamy. Apparently, former fiance of NBA star Luka Doncic, Anna Maria Goltez, is requesting $50 million to settle their child custody battle, according to TMZ. $40 million would go to her, and $10 million would presumably go to their children. She is also seeking to strip Doncic's time with his kids for at least 2 days a week. And Doncic and Cole Goltez met when they were kids and started dating as teens. Apparently, they started dating when they were 12. They have a 2-year-old girl and a 7-month girl together. Now, he's an NBA player. They've met since they were 12. And of course, all the comments everywhere were like, oh, she is a horrible person. She a hoe and hypergamy. And see, if he can't even do it, and even though he was her first, what chances do we have? And the first thing that came to my mind was status and money are no replacement for game. Status, money, and fame are no replacement for game. And it reminded me of an essay that Nuke likes to quote, which is your devotion to women means nothing. Be awesome instead, is immediately where my mind went with this. And to the Praxeology of the Dominant Male by Ian Ironwood, where he talks about finances no longer being a requirement in the dominant hierarchy of a relationship. Bacon does no longer need to be taken home because a woman can bring bacon or buy bacon for $3.50 at the grocery store. And I'm glad Arch is here, if we don't have too much of an echo, since he's one of the older guys in the Married Red Pill, who has seen this phenomenon happen a lot of times, where men think, oh, I got the wife since high school, we have the kids, I have the money, I have nothing to worry about anymore, and then out of nowhere, sucker punched with divorce papers. So, Arch, if you could enlighten us with a little bit of situational posts that happened during the day that were kind of relevant to the topic today.
Man, I do not remember 9/10 of the stuff I posted, but the general idea is the common speak they say is never stop dating your wife, and that is accidentally correct. Like what they mean is you're supposed to like be a dancing monkey, entertain your wife, be planning activities, and make sure she's just never unhappy. But really, on a date, A woman cannot be bored. You can do all kinds of crazy crap on a date, but if she is bored, you're not getting a second date and you're not getting laid. It doesn't matter who you are, how many MBTA teams you play for, how much money you bring home. If the woman is bored, she'll fuck your pool boy, even if he's like a nobody. Like, if you're like constantly taking her on yacht trips, or whatever those rich people do, or she's not bored, you're fine. But I mean, even that gets old after a while. Like the rich lifestyle, the yacht trips, eventually having sex with a druggie on a mattress is a funner story. And women are always looking to like make the next fun story, get swept up in something that would make her the coolest main character in a rom-com or something. So I mean, you could be married to a rich guy and have sex with DiCaprio in Titanic or something. But yeah, eventually familiarity, and the same every day, it breeds contempt. She gets used to you. She gets used to your life in the house, and even if you're rich, she can't get bored or you're done.
That is kind of what I think happened here. Nuke, I'd love your thoughts on this.
Well, I mean, yeah, guys got to understand. First off, like guys will go their go-to is like, well, if not even Luca, who was a big NBA, they loved him here in Dallas. Like they loved him here, right? Um, if Luca can't get a girl to act right, then what hope is there for us? Which is like every time Tom Brady pops up or whatever celebrity that all these men look up to. And I'm like, guys, that's a fundamental misunderstanding of hypergamy, first off, because hypergamy is dualistic. There's the hot, fun, exciting guy and the guy that's gonna be the dad, right? Women want both. And if you can't do both, then she's going to choose one to do one thing and choose another guy to do the other. Right? It's really reductionist, right? Because hypergamy, it's not a straitjacket. We're in a matrix, not like a one totem pole hierarchy all the way where the top is like, I don't know, Drake or Trump or something. But at the same time, Archwinger is right. Like you got to keep women entertained. Now here's a problem: if you start out with Richard, like doing fun stuff, like hey, let's go to the Maldives and hop on a private jet, or hey, come to my NBA game. And guys think like if I did that once for a woman, then she's gonna be satisfied for life. I showed her. I'm like, no, dude. Like, if you take her to an NBA game where you score 40 points and everyone's cheering your name, do that 100 times, and the girl's gonna be like, yeah, it's my husband. Hey, can we go home? The kids are crying. I left the kids with the nannies and I want to see them. Like, she's gonna get bored. It does not matter what happened. So what is there to do? That sounds like a black pill for a lot of guys. So look at it like this: women are not banks. You don't put a deposit in and wait for compound interest to like accrue over years and then she loves you more. Women are restaurants. You got to change the menu up. You have to bring in Gordon Ramsay, metaphorically speaking, not another dude, but like a different kind of like mentality. You got to use dread, right? Which is crazy because like wouldn't an NBA star be fighting off women left and right? And it's like at some point, guys got to realize it doesn't matter about like if you married her a virgin or anything like that. Women are women. Just because she has the body count of exactly 1 or 2 doesn't make her any less of a woman than somebody with the body count of 15. It's still the same plumbing and the same thing. It doesn't fundamentally change their biology. So,
Moff, got anything to add?
Yeah, a lot of good stuff there. I mean, I think we talked about the boredom, but it's like you can never ramp down with women. You don't get to go back in the story. And this is where a lot of guys will screw up in the beginning of relationships when they're trying to transition to making it more serious, especially guys with money. Like there's 2 things here. One, it's like a guy and Luca, Tom Brady, Jeff Bezos, Elon, whoever. If you're with one of these guys, like these guys are world beaters, these guys are conquerors, these guys are, when you talk about socioeconomic, they're at the pinnacle, but the amount of time, dedication, effort that it takes to get there to become like an NBA star, one of the greatest on the planet, it's like women want that guy, but they don't know or want or are unaware of the byproducts that come along with that. It's like even now, there's been stuff that I've seen about Shaq and about how he was never around. He was a father who was not around. He was always playing basketball. He was at games. He was away. He was at practice. And that's the price you pay if you want to be the best at what you're doing. Like all of this stuff is going to fall by the wayside. So it's great. Like, hey, to saddle yourself with an extremely high status, high performing man, but the trade off is like you're never going to see that guy. You're not going to see him that much, you know. And again, to that point, they're going to get used to and they're going to fall to that level of comfort in that baseline. You start off by saying, here's some courtside seats. I'm going to fly you out to XYZ. That's how it starts. And she's going to expect things to get better and increase over time. So where a lot of guys will screw up, it's like first date, they roll out the red carpet, it's a fancy dinner, or they go to like a show with some theater, and then it's this just $1,200 bill for dinner, and they can keep that up for a couple of dates, and then all of a sudden he goes, hey, like let's just stay in and like eat like order in McDonald's and drink a $12 bottle of wine. And she goes, absolutely fucking not. Now
That
like,
sounds
where's
amazing,
my
by the way.
Yeah, I know.
It's the
I was like,
greatest thing
whoa,
ever.
I want
Like,
to
are you
take him off
kidding?
right away. It's like, hey, man, how
It's
you
like,
been?
it's like, my goodness, let's just order in, grab Chinese, and like watch the UFC card. And she's like, actually, like, where's my yacht? So, and that's where guys really mess up, right? And it's that within how committed or how much you're investing, and it's not only like the activities and the dates you plan, but it's the texting, it's the amount you're doing it. So it's like guys just, for lack of a better term, just like shoot their wad super early and they have nothing to fall back to. It's like thinking about it like a piece of music and dynamics and how great pieces of music and songs, they build. They start off slow and they build to the dramatic sort of climax or a great story. They don't just, for the most part, start by punching you in the face, because then it has nowhere to go and it doesn't have that effect over time. So, but guys just, they get so in their feelings and they're so excited that they just want to just, that's what the women call love bombing, right? But for us, it's just you're over investing too early, likely because you don't have a ton of options going for you. And you also think this is the right way to get a woman, is just to pour your entire self into her and she's going to love you for it, and sacrifice yourself for this broad who you don't even know. So yeah, but I second and echo everything that's already been said.
Hmm. What do you think could he? So this is kind of two questions. What do you think he did in the long run of his relationship that caused this? And what could he have done? Which tools could he have implemented to have prevented this? Arch, you want to take that one first?
I mean, I am a firm believer that if humans lived to be 1,000 years old, the divorce rate would be 100%. Like, all relationships are temporary. If you're really lucky, you get to die first. I mean, and with this guy, I mean, it's also a business term, like an MVP, which I guess is also a sports term, but minimum viable product. Your first date should be exactly the minimum necessary to get her to go home with you, but you don't want to like be hitting her with too much. And it's sometimes hard to calibrate exactly where that is, but like if he started out being this hard to get sports player, my riches aren't all on the table for you, the yachts for like 3 months in, like it kind
Well,
of
they started
trickles out.
dating when they were 12. So
Yeah,
I
so-
don't know if he had a yacht then.
So, funny story. So, I got out of law school. I can't find a job. I majored in biochemistry. I have like a 2.4 GPA from college. I go to law school, get a B average. I'm trying to be a patent attorney, and they want to hire you for what you did like in your undergraduate degree. And I got a 2.4 GPA in biochem. I'm not good enough. Only tiny firms will even look at me. Even they're not hiring me. My wife has seen me scramble for a job, doing contract work. I'm not making ends meet. And over the years, I worked for the worst patent law firms in Houston, then the second worst, and I moved to Austin to work for the worst firm, and then I got a better job, and now I ended up working from home for like making six figures, and I clawed my way up. But my wife always saw me as like this socially stunted loser with no friends, who couldn't find a job, even though like here I am making six figures in Austin. I got a circle of friends now. I'm doing more stuff. I'm in better shape. But like I was always in her eyes that loser she knew who, and she always an asshole. She's like pretending and tricking people almost. But like, once she's seen you, like as that 12-year-old boy, I think it's hard for her to see you as, this guy who made it big. Like you're always that kid in her eyes. And so, he's like this rich guy who's like, pretending when he's really that 12-year-old loser she's known her whole life. She knows all of his baggage, his secrets, his insecurities, and I mean, honestly, I'm surprised they stayed together that long. Like, you think when he went famous or something, that should have like turned her off. Maybe she still felt, maybe she wanted to get a piece of that. I don't know, but yeah. Once you're already famous, though, yeah, minimum viable product, then like kind of trickle in more stuff, just enough to get her to say yes, and then you slowly ramp that up. You can prolong things, but eventually, your turn ends.
Well, real quick
No.
too, like there's a big difference between LA and Dallas as well in terms of exposure and lifestyle, right? So like that has I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah.
that's played a huge part.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
she stayed in. Apparently, what the reason was that caused all this is that he wanted the kids to be in the U.S. and she wanted the kids to be in Eastern Europe with her. So they're both from Eastern Europe, and because of
Oh,
work,
I didn't know she wasn't local. I didn't know she didn't move out west.
no, she apparently wanted to stay in Eastern Europe, but he had to keep moving for his job and things like that. And that is kind of what like the straw that broke the camel's back. At least that's, as women do, think the reason is. What I think, looking at the situation, you're together since you're 12. So this is like over a decade and a half that they're together. He gets famous, whatever. But of course, blue pill alpha situation, blue pill conditioning, he probably had the opportunity for more ass than a toilet seat. Does the blue pill thing of like, no, honey, I would never do that, ignores them all, things like that, completely misses the opportunity of instilling some positive dread there. And all she can think of is, I don't need to do anything for him. I've got him. There's no challenge. There's no worry. There is no indignation, as what Rollo used to write about. Be her indignation, be her drug dealer. You can be this guy, UFC player, whatever, and you can still lack that indignation that she so very much craves.
Basketball is also a soft game. And
Ha!
the United States is far softer, and the men are much softer, and the environment's much softer than Eastern Europe. So that could have been a thing over time where he just got soft, like death by 1,000 cuts, right? And if you know anything about Eastern European, like they need alpha, they need guys that are going to put them in their place. They need them that are going to tell them to shut the fuck up, or that might need to, make them face the wall a time or two if they're
Hey,
really.
now.
Well, you know what I mean. But so the idea, that's something I think about maybe too, where it's like he's busy doing his thing, she's bitching, pissing, moaning, complaining. He's like, you know what, just go buy another bag or whatever it might be. Just kind of like buzz off, leave me alone. I just want to go play basketball. But yeah, I think it's all of those things rolled into one, and I think the knowing from an early age is huge because it's like, yeah, I know who you are deep in your core. Everybody might think that you're this basketball player and hundreds of $1 million in the bank, but I know
Get all these
your
women.
BS.
Yeah.
Like I know who
I
you
know what
really
you are.
are.
I
Yeah,
know
you're
you
at your
cried
core.
at Bambi, you.
Yeah.
And
I'm
there's no
gonna go
mystery
ahead
there.
I'm gonna go ahead and say there's nothing you can do as where he's at. I think this was inevitable, and here's my reasoning, right? First off, you said it like Moff said it, like NBA is a soft sport, right? And when I say soft, there is a lot of the 90s were blood on the court,
Yeah,
right?
it's not
80s and
ball,
90s,
yeah.
yeah.
Let me say
There's a
this:
lot
like
of like
all sports are pretty soft, unless like NFL is still getting, but like NHL, like hockey and football still are, but like basketball's soft now.
yeah. So, but where it's also very, very soft politically, business wise, right? It is a family sport. So what do? Now NBA stars can't they have to wear suits and they gotta look like, people, not hoodlums when they walk in. They can't curse on the court, right? They can't get in, they can't be too many altercations because they'll get kicked out really quickly, right? It's a family sport, meaning that the players have a code that they have to live by, right? So there's no more Michael Vicks anymore, right? There has to be these guys. A lot of people don't understand, like when you're a professional athlete, you become a child again in a lot of aspects, right? Because they watch what you do, right? They pay attention to you, what you're doing, because you're the face of the team. You're the face of your family, the team, the city, right? So if you get stuck somewhere getting drunk, throwing up in a gutter, that makes the news, right? So there's a lot of things Luka can't do because he's a superstar. So anything family wise that he does is going to make the news. If he gets caught yelling at his wife, he's fucked, and maybe he needed to yell at her. Maybe he was establishing a boundary and saying, hey, no, this is not going to happen. But Like, what is the public gonna think, right? So a lot of celebrities are stuck in that. Hey, they want to be good dudes. They want a family. They want to be family men, right? They'll bring their family to every practice game and sit them there and be like, okay, and then hug their kids. Like I've seen when these guys when they win championships, they have their kids with them and kiss them, right, while holding the trophy, right? And I'm like, they're trying to be family men. It's the optic. It's basic politics, right? But when you're in a situation where your wife's like bored or wants to leave you, which who knows why she's trying to leave him, right? Um, there is this nagging thing where it's like, I'm a politician. I represent this team, this brand, this organization, and my brand, my personal brand. And if I want a sneaker deal, or if I want to be ready to get picked up by this other team, I better act right. I better be like there's so much restraints. And what is being blue pilled than being afraid to establish boundaries because there's consequences, you know?
Like Dustin
So
Poirier just got dropped by
yeah,
Bud Light, and that whole thing after like wanting to getting drunk in an airport and maybe starting to fight, right? I mean,
yeah,
he's small potatoes compared to a guy like Luca, who's a global
yeah.
superstar. So yeah, man, you're spot on.
So another thing, it's like why we see Leo, he's not very like how many commercials has Leo been in or brand deals does he have? We don't even know what
None.
where is Leo? And that's by
Just
he's like,
riding a
hey, I
city
wanted
bike around town. Yeah.
yeah,
What
probably,
was
you
his
know, and I'm
last film where
And
he
like
played
swimming
a
in
bum?
Aruba with a 20-year-old. Like that's all we
No.
ever see.
His
yeah,
last film was a bum shooting people up or something, right? Like the last fight you'll ever have or something. Which
Oh,
one was that?
yeah. I don't remember his
sucked.
last film.
It was like the
Um,
America anti-ice film. It was something like I saw it. There's horror. But anyway, it was anyway. Go on. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, like he's kind of smart in that he's like, okay, I'm an actor. I'm not going to go into brands that are like family friendly. I want to have sex with models and cycle them through on my yacht. So I'm going to have to be away. I'm going to have a distance from um society. And every time he does an interview, they shame him for what? Hey, why aren't you a father? I think the last big interview he did was with Homegirl from the Hunger Games. And she kept nagging him like, "You would make a great dad." Like that kind of nagging, like, you know, like get off the yacht and start being a dad and right? And that's what Luca did. And that's what Kaká, the famous soccer player that got divorced too. And you know, there was a soccer player that divorced Shakira. Shakira is one of the biggest worldwide pop singers of all time, right? And he divorced him. Her, sorry. And essentially it was like, "Oh, uh, that's crazy. Like, what happened? What did he do?" And he's like, "Yeah, I cheated." You know how risky that was but luckily in Latin America, we have a different kind of morality around that. We kind of understand that men are men and they'll do what they're going to do, especially if they're famous. So it's like, you know, well, yeah.
Culturally, for sure, different. Like real quick, Jack. Like I was just watching the other day. Like there was this guy Lou Williams, who was a point guard for the Atlanta Hawks. And he played in the NBA a bunch of years. He was, I wouldn't say famous for this, but it was very well known around the league. He had two girls. Like he was married to or dating at the same time, and they would sit courtside together, and he would be seen out with them, like in clubs with them and things like that. So I think in certain communities and cultures, it's far more acceptable. Yeah, totally agree.
There was a period in my life where I did have two girlfriends, and I remember this very well. One actually I worked with, and everybody knew about that. Like, oh, those two are dating. But then during a break, I showed up with the other one, and they were like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, "What?" "Well, does she know about that?" I'm like, "Yeah, she introduced me to her." And they were like, "What?"
They just
Right.
short circuit, like they just can't.
Yeah, they wait, what? I'm
You
like,
can
"Yeah,
do
I have
that.
two girlfriends."
Yeah, that's
I have
not
two
illegal.
girlfriends. Yeah. Oh, they were like, "What the hell are you doing?" And she approves of this. I'm like, she doesn't have much of a choice, in all honesty.
Also, like when you're in like a public-facing career, like is a sporting guy, you know, his wife has the added dagger over his head. Like not just like you better behave yourself or I divorce you. It's you better behave yourself or I can end your career. I mean,
Everyone's gonna know you like feet.
yeah, and you look at like all this sporting stuff, like a player gets accused of like a sex sting or beating his wife or some other crap like that, and like they go to the coach, like, what are you doing about this? His answer should be, I play basketball, I'm a coach. Like we're cooperating with the police, we're giving them everything they want. If he's found guilty by a jury of his peers, we'll take action, but not like have you suspended him on the accusation? Like, oh, we're looking into this. Like, what's a coach doing, interviewing people about this player's sex crimes? So you can suspend him. He's a basketball coach. Like, but that's going at a sword of Damocles. Like, you do what I say, or I'm going to ruin your career, not just I'm going to divorce you. And so maybe he has to play ball in the divorce and give her whatever the heck she wants just to keep his career.
Yeah, I saw Dr. W mentioning the Better Beta Divorce Guide, and I've seen a couple of videos of Luca replying to this, and I find him very timid. It's like, oh, he kind of rolls over. He's the rolling over guy in divorce, where it's like, just take it, but let me see the kids. And now she's like, yeah, I'm taking custody too. And that reminds me of a lot of divorce stories that used to be on the Reddit, where it's like, I just want this to stop. And all they do is roll over. Where a better position would have been to hunker down. Now, there's multiple ways you can do that in a divorce, and I think Arch can go through this a little bit. And thank you, Void, for mentioning the Better Beta Divorce Guide. When people hear that, they think, oh, I'm going to up the alpha in court. That's going to ruin your life. Now, that's absolutely going to ruin your life. What the Better Beta Divorce Guide is actually describing is you being cooperative and as less hostile, or not hostile at all, actually, as you possibly can be. If you get an email from your wife, you keep it as business language as possible. If the judge or whatever asks you for something, if they say jump, you just ask how high, but you don't roll over. As soon as she starts making demands that you absolutely disagree with, you keep it short, but you keep it concise of like, we'll do this in court. But what I'm getting, the vibes I'm getting from this Luca character is more like, oh, just take the money, but let me see the kids. And now she's taking the kids as well.
Also, do whatever your lawyer says. Like, even if it seems good, do whatever your lawyer says. If you're that rich, you have a good lawyer, do what he says. You do not know better.
Yeah. And an interesting thing here too is that guys that do want to spin plates for, like, let's talk about celebrity level, right? Because both of them have hyper abundance that we can't even fathom. But Leo spins plates publicly. He tries to go to his yacht in Aruba, away from people, but he's gonna, paparazzi. And you have Luca, Kaká, and all these guys that are like, want family men, right? Or trying to be. Both of them are getting the same backlash, right? Like, women, the public, which is more feminine minded, they're never going to be happy with men's agency. They don't like it, right? On one hand, Luca wants to see his kids on his terms and wants to stay married, and women don't like that because they assume if the woman's not happy, then he did something wrong and he shouldn't have the choice anymore. And then on Leo's side, he's slaying Victoria's Secret models. Women don't like that because why is a man doing what he wants all the time? So the point is that guys got to understand, and I know celebrities isn't always the best example, that if you want what you want out of life, whether you want to be a family man or a guy that just slays, or both, eventually you transition one to the other, right? Society's not going to like it. Anything where you get to have a choice, that's the whole point of this, is like you having a choice does not sit well with society. They don't want you to have the choice. They want you to just take what you can get out of life, and it's usually a frumpy girl that doesn't want to have sex with you that often because you haven't learned the right way, or you learned the right way to attract women, so to speak, and that is to be a nice guy. So that's why Archwinger has under his name legendary evil internet misogynist author, is because this is what we tell men, like, you have a choice. But telling men that they have a choice pisses off a lot of people, including other men. They don't like, hey dude, you can be a degenerate for like a couple years and then you can find a good girl and be a family man and wholesome and go to church. No, once you're degenerate, that's forever. You're going to be broken as a man. Pussy breaks you, bro. And then you tell men like, hey, as a family man, you don't have to sacrifice for your kids and be in a sexless marriage, right? You'll probably be a better father if you had a hotter, younger girlfriend and you got to see your kids once a week, right? No, you can't have that. That's not a choice. You do what is the right thing to do. Either way, it's not up to you, right? That's what they're trying to tell you.
Well, was it that Ed Lattimore said the red pill is teaching slaves to read?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I think
we're basically the Underground Railroad. If we had to change Rule Zero's name to something else, it would be called the Underground Railroad.
Nuke, are you doing the black thing, man?
I don't know if we'd be welcome on a show that was called that. I don't think my complexion is
aligned.
Well,
did you? most people that didn't want slavery were white, so I don't
That's
see the
true.
issue.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah,
I
that's
was just
true.
about to say, Marv, we were
never
the
mind
ones
our
who
own
liberated
business.
them.
That's true.
Yep.
They should be thanking
lot-
us. Well, not
A
you
lot of
guys,
white
but-
people gave their most of their lives for against slavery than any other race on earth. So just letting you guys know that.
Mm.
We didn't invent Wi-Fi though, so we're still behind. No,
yeah.
like, yeah, dude. Like, it goes back to the idea, right? That, and this is something I see you guys talk about all the time, but I don't totally agree with. It's that masculinity, or what it means to be a man, at least to most people, is just sacrifice. It's that's what we're here for. We're there to be plow horses. We have no agency. Whatever is good for society, which is, women, feminized version of it. That's men are worker bees. We're just meant to toil and work the fields, and that's it. And we're supposed to. And it's not just women that are saying this, but like to your point, Nuke, like there are millions of men that are buying into this too. Like, our purpose is to provide and protect, and to not do anything that could be deemed pleasurable or intrinsically beneficial to us whatsoever, because we need to be sacrificing. And that's where they garner a lot of their identity from. So it's like, when I ask guys all the time, like, what's your purpose? What's your mission? Being married, being a husband, being a father. I'm like, I get it, but it's a bad choice, man, because
It's an eventuality. Like
all
anyone
that
will
stuff
stumble.
can be taken away
Yeah.
from you.
Yeah. It's just an eventuality. You'll get in and out of relationships for the rest of your life. Hell, you'll get along with your own parents for like 5 years, and then they'll do something, and you hate your parents for 2 years, and then one day you'll be like, I'm gonna call my mom, and then you're back on.
Patch it up.
You're cool with your parents. Yeah, back and forth. It's just humans are like that. We're very transient in our relationships, unless it's like your military buddies or something. For some reason, you're friends with them for life. I don't know what it is. Like if they showed up on my doorstep, I'd be like, come on in, right? Let's catch up. But it's just, guys got to understand, like, masculinity is just more than being a plow horse. That shit won't make you happy anyway. You'll have to. It takes so much effort and calories to convince yourself that, hey, me working extra 20 hours a week so my wife can fill up the front porch with Amazon boxes, is happiness, right? It's so hard to convince, because you're just like, now I'm breaking down these boxes, because like the joke is, hey, we all work for Amazon, right? Yeah, because we all break down the boxes that our wives order, and it's so hard. And it's also really hard for men to like come to grips that, like, hey, you don't have to live like this. There is a better life out there. And that's even scarier than anything they've ever heard in their life, right? If you tell a man if you tell a man die for his country, he'll be like, well, it is what it is. I got to go to war, right? He'll cry maybe that first night, but then he'll be like, well, cool, I got a cool uniform, and maybe I'll get a medal, who knows? But tell a guy to live for himself, it's a horror movie. He'll be like, what? He'll hold out a cross and be like, get away from me, demon, because it's so in there, it's so programmed, and they really want to make the red pill about that. I'm like, no, dude, I don't give a shit what you do with your life, and that's the point. It's choice, more sexual power and options. Literally the name of the show.
I mean, you see colors of that all over. Like, there are some sectors of society where, like, if you play a video game, you're stealing from God, stealing from society. You should be being productive. Like, my wife sometimes feels like if I go to the gym during lunch for my work, and then on the weekend I have to work rather than, it's like, you had time to do that, and then you can't help me with childcare on the weekends. Like, I'm stealing time from my wife. Like we all, sometimes it feels like it owns, like, you owe a debt on your time that, you can't do what you want. And just big picture, it's like Nuke said, like Moff said too, we are like the sacrificial workhorses. Like, when we have a choice, we do something for ourselves. Like, it's almost not, you're only as valuable as you are useful to someone else. And you see that in all shades. Like, what's this? It's like men don't read. Women like go to wine mom book clubs on Monday night, whereas men, we prefer to play video games. And so our hobbies are lesser because, we should be doing a different hobby. Almost like you feel like you have to justify your hobby. Like, well, I read this and not that. I play video games, but only this much, and they help my coordination. You're already lost at that point. When you feel like you have to justify it, it's like, no, fuck you. I like it. And it's just, I can do what I want with my life. And like, it's liberating to say that, but also a little scary.
Well, the other side of that coin is obviously, guys hear this and they go, oh, I can go drink and party and do this and that. I can play video games forever. And it's like, you're free to choose, but you're not necessarily free of the potential consequences of those choices, right? That's the caveat. So it's like, yeah, man, doing what you want in a way can be seen, all these other factors come into play. It's like, well, women like a guy that does what he wants without apology, but it's not necessarily maybe the hobby itself. It's more like, well, it could be it. It's like, I'm not saying playing video games all day is going to make you attractive. Being like a slob and eating whatever you want and not like meal prepping or whatever might not get you in the shape that you want for women to like you. So that's part of it too. Like men just want a direction. Guys want to just be handed the blueprint and just say like, tell me what to do and then I'll do it. Like a lot of guys, most men I'd say, crave a leader, like crave someone to tell them what to do. It's like a math problem. It's logic, it's equations. But that's something that gets lost, I think, on men. It's like, oh, I can do whatever. Or that's at least like I've heard Tate talk a lot about that. I know I'm not supposed to mention that name, but it's like,
of course you can.
it's like, if men are allowed to do whatever they want to do, that leads to hedonism and they'll just default to whatever feels good. And it's like, yeah, some of them, sure. But that's something that it's just collateral damage. Like what's the alternative? It's just say, hey, no, you have to slave away because you're not allowed to choose and have your own agency. It's okay. Like here's a 360-degree view of all your options. If you go down each of these paths, what is it going to bear fruit or not? Or what is it going to give you or take away from you? Make the choice that's best for yourself and then just be willing to own the outcome and not point fingers at other people for where you are. But that's very difficult for most men.
Well, it is. And let's say you have like everybody like us running around and there's no more
Ditch diggers.
yeah, I mean,
Right?
I thought berry pickers was always like a brutal one. Where it's like, let's say
that's tough. That's getting iffy. That's on the line. I don't know. We're gonna have to cut that
where it's
one
like,
out,
let's say you don't have any ditch diggers or berry pickers anymore. What you're gonna get, and it kind of goes into Plato's noble lie, but also kind of doesn't go in there. You're gonna get full on polygamy, where it's like, yeah, you get like the top guys, they get all the women, but here's the thing. Not all women get chosen, which is also what they fear the most. Because I think deep down women know that inherently, like their only agency is their sexuality. However, that does not guarantee them reproduction. There's plenty of women who get sidelined after years of dating for a younger, hotter model. Because the guy was like, yeah, you're fun. Yeah, you're great in bed, whatever. But your other qualities are just lacking. Now, I 9 out of 10 times do not believe the guy has not been clear about it. I've actually known guys who have done this. They've dated a girl for 10 years and they swapped her out for a younger, hotter model. And like 10 years younger even. And within a year, that new one was pregnant. Within a year, the new one was pregnant. And of course, the ex was like, how dare you pull this on me and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, I told you for years. I work all day. I get home and you're busy with your spiritual woo-woo bullshit. And I still have to cook. I still have to do the groceries. I still have to do everything that could have been done while you are home. You have given me nothing to make me think you have good nurturing qualities. And all of a sudden, it's like, he wasted my youth. It's like, no, you're just hearing what you want to hear, darling. It's like,
dude, that post by Devin Erickson has been fucking with me for like a week and a half. By Whisper, he said that women want to be pets. Like I don't like the whole women are dogs or pets or stuff because it doesn't those kind of arguments don't receive traction even if they're right. Like people fight against it too hard for you to be like, let me write an essay about how women need to be trained like dogs. I'm like, yeah, dude, that's not going to get very far, right? Only the like super turbo incels are going to be glum onto that, and that's not the audience you kind of want. But then I saw the post and I said, it's not about like training. It's about that women want to, and I think Arch, you posted about this or something recently too. It's that women want to be wives, but like when they feel like it, not like, because for example, my mother would rush home to make sure dinner was on the table at 6 p.m. every day for my father. Obviously different socioeconomic situation and history, so can't really compare that much. But what women want is the lifestyle that my mother had, but without having the whole, I got to rush home and make sure my husband and my kids are fed. That means I'm not working extra hours. That means I'm not going out doing stuff. That is my number one priority and reason for living. And women don't want to do it. They want to do it, on a Monday, on a random, I feel like making this recipe I found on Pinterest today, or on a Thursday, they'll be like, I could do the laundry. I don't, my meeting got canceled. I'll go do some laundry. Like, it's not like oh, has to get done. So it's like, guys, we get taught, even red pill guys understand, like, hey, I got to get shit done. I can't wait for someone else to fold my laundry and cook for me. I have a physique to maintain, and I have clothes to, so I got to do it myself. So we become hyper self-sufficient. And then a girl comes in, she tries, she does, she washes, she does the laundry once in a while. She turns on the slow cooker, the pressure cooker, and she tries. And we're very appreciative because like we don't feel like women owe us anything. We get over our entitlement over women a long time ago. So then, that over years, Jack, is why that guy was just like, right? Because he's been trying in his head to see what he gets out of it, right? And the thing is, it's so subconscious because it's just like he starts seeing her as like a daughter, almost like a just a person he has to take care of, rather than, hey, this person has to add to my life, right? And guys, since they get this programming that they're the ones wasting women's time, they feel bad. But they, like, no, I got to make this worth it. Sunk cost fallacy. I got to stick it up because she's already invested so much. But guys got to understand, she's also wasting your time, right? You could be running a harem right now, or you could be, working for Elon or something, or you could be, starting a business that requires more time. You could be doing other things besides waiting to see if she'll step up. And guys need to understand, like, I don't agree that you should waste 10 years of a girl's time, right? You need to find the strength to let her go. But at the same time, like, ladies, like, you learn from this. If you have any sense, you have to learn from the fact that it is up to you to make a guy want to be with you. It is up to you because, yeah.
I've got one for you. Was that Royce who said never feel guilty for dumping a woman because she's dumped so many before you? I would use that argument in the same breath as don't feel guilty for wasting somebody's 10 years. Do you know how many
dozens of men she's strung along, or they kept in the orbiter zone or whatever it is, or just dumped them for some dumbass reason, or bounced on some other guy when he sacrificed and devoted all this time? Yeah, it's like,
I wouldn't say do it on purpose, but if you are clear in your intention towards, like, honey, you and I are not going to have kids. That's just no, that's not going to happen. You are free to stay. However, this is not going to go further than it goes now. Like, I am full for that. And if she then at that point still decides to stay, I will not feel a moment of guilt. I won't.
I mean, women, they do that thing where when you say and do stuff, they don't see what are you saying and doing. They see what would I be thinking and feeling if I were doing that. And they know, like, if I'm having sex with Jack, Jack's having sex with me. So they think, I'm trying to get toward marriage. Jack must be trying to get toward marriage. He's saying stupid man words, but like, I know, what's really going on, because she can't see you. She can only see herself and why would I do what you're doing. But at the end of the day, women, they know the game. I mean, every relationship that did not lead to a marriage proposal, which has been every one up to this day, like, they know how it goes. If yours doesn't, sure, it's disappointing, but I mean, you haven't done anything worse than the hundreds of other guys that didn't lead to a proposal. You're just one more guy in her notch. But I guess piggyback on what Nuke was saying, I think part of the reason like wifing and mothering and even girlfriending is almost treated like more of a hobby than a serious job nowadays is just you kind of get the behavior incentivized, and right now there's no consequences. Your wife, your girlfriend, she'll treat her job for her boss as a real job because she can get fired. You can't fire your wife. I mean, if you do, she gets the house, the kids, and like 60% of the money and an ongoing future payments. So I mean, like, you can't fire her. So there are no consequences. She can treat like mothering as a hobby. I'm going to cook Monday and when I feel like it, and otherwise not, because what are the consequences if she doesn't? You'll pick up the slack, or you'll give her the house. I mean, and so yeah.
Well, that point, Jack, real quick, like, what a lot of women either know subconsciously deep down, or they have to go out there and realize, is that even being with you for 10 years and not getting married is going to be a better relationship, and she's going to have a better time than she is out there with other guys that are uncalibrated, or out there being single and trying to find a dude that knows the game, right? That gets it. So I think that's maybe part of it too. I think deep down they know this is the best they can do, and it's a lot of women will stick around. Like a lot of women will do that, even knowing that they're not going to get what they want. Either they delude themselves into thinking they just got to work harder, or they just have to show you more, or it's just like, I think some of them do have that come to Jesus moment where, or they've been out there in the wild before and they know subconsciously or maybe even consciously that, okay, I'm 10 years older than I was. And even then I was getting frustrated. So now it's just going to be a bloodbath and I'm better off riding it out with Jack for as long as he'll keep me around, which is, if she adds enough value and she's a compliment, it could be forever. It's like, you can stick around as long as you want. I'm going to still do what I want while you're doing that. And I'm going to continue to live my life in the way that I want. But you're welcome to be in the passenger seat for as long as you like, as long as you continue to do these things. And so like, that's also kind of what we're seeing now. It's just these long-term casual relationships that have sort of become the norm and replaced your normal LTRs and marriages and things like that, or at least they're at least on the road to getting to be that way. Because Nuke, I saw what you posted today, and I thought that was really good. And I know that you didn't take credit for this was Whisper, but it's about if society no longer compels marriage, or if there are no consequences for not being married and we're not societally shaming people for doing so, then where's the incentive to doing it? Then other things are going to take place, and other things like long-term casual relationships and casual sex are going to fill that gap.
Yeah, it's just like it's unfair to ask men and women to like keep it in their pants until they're married when I can't buy a house till I'm 30 maybe. You know, like it's a little fucking unfair. And that's what these Christian listen, I'm not in favor of women just doing whatever and hurting everyone in the process of trying to use their sexuality to get like, I would love for women to have a little 1 year hoe phase and then maybe get married, right? I feel like that's the healthiest option here, right? But that's not gonna happen, right? Because you can't buy a house until you're like 32. In some places, probably later. The average age of buying a home is like 38. And Netherlands is ridiculous to buy
40.
a house.
Netherlands is
so
40.
So this is what happens, right? First off, now that people can't buy houses, then we have this trinket economy, right? Where people are and say, oh, I'll never have a house and family, so I'm just gonna buy Funko Pops, or I'm just gonna buy a computer, or because those things are less expensive than owning a house, but it's what I can buy, right? I need to buy something, and then on top of that, you realize that like, hey, if I do want a house, I'm gonna have to a woman has to contribute. And it has to be at least a minimum 60-40, 70-30 I'm paying, because holy shit, it's expensive to move on and have kids, a house, but all that stuff. And how many women are going to sign up for that at 25, 24, right? Not a lot of women. Like maybe some because they have this mentality, they have that mentality. But so what women do is like, meanwhile, men and women are going to buy trinkets and have sex, right? And here's the issue with that. Women, when they get to 30, they're not going to get to 30 with the same kind of like bubbly happiness, girly, feminine that they were when they were 22, right? They're going to be a little bit tired, burnt out, a couple heartbreaks and they also have urgency. Like, oh shit, I have to get married because I don't know if I'm going to have my ovaries, or sorry, my eggs are almost gone. And then for men, they hit 30, 31. They're like, oh crap, a girl called me back.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like,
or six girls called me back.
Or 6, or hey, I got promoted and now I have the money to go on 2 dates instead of 1 date a month, and they start hitting their stride, right? And so now society has to do something. We have to shame men into getting married, and we have to make women feel that they have more time. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think? Like, there's going to be a lot of dysfunction. There's not going to be like, okay, sorry for sleeping with all these guys. It's contrary to your sexual strategy. Can we get married now? Right? You've worked so hard your whole life in your 20s to afford a house. And, for some guys, they'll be like, I'll take the deal, whatever. But the thing is, what's happening now, Jack? Women are gloating about this publicly on the world's biggest podcast. It's like, are you stupid? Why would you do that? Even grandmas knew to keep it secret when they slept with sailors, right? But these women can't help it, and this is what I'm saying. The arrogance and the hubris. I'm like Lizzie McGuire. Remember Disney? I used to watch. I had a huge crush on her.
Hilary Duff.
Hilary Duff. I used to watch Lizzie McGuire as a kid. I had a huge crush on her.
Aw.
because I was a Disney kid. Like I watched like Disney shows like that, right? As a
I was
teen.
more of an Avril
And
Lavigne type, but I get it.
yeah, she was like the wholesome, silly, feminine girl that got into
Yeah, she was great.
shenanigans, right?
get it.
Cool.
I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, Boy Meets World, shows like that. I love shows like that, right?
Mhm.
And then now I got to see her on a podcast talk about how she sucked a lot of dicks, and now she's, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing?
Lizzie,
right?
no.
What are you doing? And
The illusion
let-
just shatters. Yeah.
right, yeah, the immersion, right? Because as a guy, whether it's watching pornography or on a date or being married, there needs to be a level of immersion so you can delude yourself, right? Like there needs to be something. But here's what women are doing. They're destroying across all things that require a little bit of feminine mystique and immersion for us to get on the train, right? They're destroying it, right? So let's say you're a gooner and you don't date and you decided, hey, I'm just gonna jerk off, and you go and watch a podcast and you hear an OnlyFans girl say, yeah, I like taking advantage of my simps. They're losers. What are you doing? That's bad for business. You should be like, I love them. They're perfect men. They're just misunderstood. Like that's what you should be doing to your
Mhm.
gooner audience. Same thing with marriage. Hey, I made men wait, and my man is a pathetic simp. Like kind of communicate it in an implicit way. Men that have worked their whole lives until 30, 31, 32 that are trying to like, hey, maybe starting to start a family, look at this and they're just like, oh, this is the world's #1 podcast. It got to me via an Instagram reel or a reaction from a male podcast. You know what? Let's give it 5 more years. I'm gonna go not get married and do something else. Like what are we doing here? Of course, marriage is not gonna survive. Are we so like? Why is this a head scratcher?
I love the comparison you made where it's like it's the hubris of the anime villain thinking that he's won. Like, haha, protagonist. You might
And
not have guessed
explaining
this.
the whole
Yeah.
thing, like the big chair turning around. He's just like the monologue where while he's monologuing, the protagonist is like, all right, how do I take advantage of the situation? Okay, I see a crane up there, and if I jump up there, I could attack him from behind, and then I'll signal my sidekick, and he'll take him out from the side. You know what I'm saying? Like guys
Yeah,
are
but
looking
in
at this,
this
and we're just
case,
like,
the protagonist is just walking away, where it's like, I don't have to listen to your monologue. Yes, you do. That's the point of monologuing. Nah, I can literally just walk and trade you in for a younger, hotter, tighter version of yourself. And since I know the plan now, she can pull this shit on me. So goodbye. No, that's not how the plot is supposed to go. I have plot protection. Well, you don't. That passed 2 years ago. Goodbye.
Sometimes I wonder
Yeah.
if women have just like figured this out. Like a lot of times things just happen. They're just doing their things, making their choices. It's not always conscious. A lot of it's instinctual. Like almost like when I'm watching these things and hearing about them on the internet, it's almost like that guy who just learned a red pill like 5 minutes ago, and he's like talking about it everywhere. Like, oh, that's a shit test. Oh yeah, this is an alphabet, and like he can't shut up about this new cool thing he's learned. Like I'm almost getting that vibe from these podcasts. Like these. Oh man, like no one ever explained it this way, but now on the internet, look at what we're getting away with, and now it's so cool. It's like they just learned like girl red pill or something, and they're like they can't shut up about it. Like their whole life it was just happening. Someone put it into words. Now they're explaining the game because like it's so new and exciting.
The Call Me Daddy podcast, man, is the red pill greatest marketer. Real quick, Callie for the generous 404. Thank you very much, sir. I understand the reference, but we did find this super chat actually. Callie for the generous 404, not found. Some say repeal the 19th. I say bring back lapidation. I don't know what lapidation is.
What is that? Everyone look it up. Well, the 19th is never going to be repealed, dude. It's too much paperwork. And you need guns, a lot of guns. You need a lot of death and blood. Yeah.
Lots. Or,
You probably have to kill your best friend because your best friend's going to be pro 19th Amendment, right? Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to kill people you like?
Hey now,
so
in
you can
Minecraft. I'm going to keep my channel.
Yeah, in Minecraft, yeah.
Yeah. Apparently that's the way you get out from under it, where it's like, I'm going to kill you in Minecraft. It's like, oh, okay. And then the YouTube algorithm is like, oh, yeah, we understand. Like in Halo. It's like, It's I don't know. But thank you, Callie, for the 404. I do appreciate that. But I have no idea what lapidation is. Like
Death by stoning.
Oh, the hell no.
Yeah, no, you don't. Biologically we can't kill women, like it's really hard for us to do so. Like why? How do you think we got here in the first place? It's because we love women. We worship them biologically. Like our bodies are designed to die for women. Like we can't undo that, right? You guys know that, right? Like if there was a big red button that said repeal the 19th, even the most misogynistic groiper incel would look at it and be like, he would pace around for a little bit. He'd think twice about it because it's in our nature to worship women. It's not, you didn't get taught this. It was your biology, right? You were taught that you were taught to sacrifice it for nothing, but you're designed to die for women. It is what it is. Like it's not going away.
I would still want the other option of repeal voting rights for everybody who has been on welfare for the last 2 years. I would go for that, where it's like, yeah, you know what? I want a more extreme version of this. Include the men. Do it. I think that's going to be a way better society, in all honesty.
Yeah, but I mean, the problem with only people with land should vote, or only people with this, is that we can't send kids to the military and not give them a right to vote. I think that's really unfair.
I think it's not fair to send kids to the military in the first place. I think 18 is way too young, but you got to have a fighting force. So yeah, then there's that topic you need to discuss where it's like, okay, how are we going to do that? Or maybe having been enlisted in the military is a requirement to vote. That could be a solution.
It's very Starship Troopers of you.
Yeah, but the thing it doesn't work for a country the size of America, and you don't want every dope to be in the military.
That's true. Like
You don't
serve
want-
a year, maybe 2, that enough time to separate the wheat from the chaff. I don't know.
I mean, this is just navel gazing and stuff. But
I know.
I
I'm
would say that in terms of voting, voting is a mechanism. People are using voting as a mechanism to like forgive and absolve leaders of the bad things they do. Right? Oh, we voted the wrong person. No, dude, that person has agency. Right? Like the governor of Minnesota has agency. They voted him in, and he fucked over the state. Hold him accountable. Like I agree with Red Hawk on that. It's just like you can't vote yourself out of right. You just have to make. What did the French do every time a politician fucked up? They beheaded that motherfucker.
The French did it so well, they had a part 2 of it. They had number 1, the terror, and followed it up with the Great Terror. It's like, wow, how original. But it's literally how that went, actually.
Yeah, and you think Kamala Harris would run after like severe consequences after screwing over people?
Yeah,
right. She put a lot of innocent people. Yeah, you think, and that's the thing, right? Like, in terms of like, hey, we got to wait for a political solution, bro. It's never gonna be a solution that favors you. It's gonna be very, very bloody, painful. It's gonna make you broke or lose hope in your country. Just win within the system. I'm telling you, it's better. Forget about waiting for someone to make your life better. Just keep an eye on the stock market so you can,
I think Hawk is right.
The illusion of choice, like, is what keeps normal people from grabbing guns and having a revolution. Like, there is no choice, there's no solution, but the illusion of choice is why we haven't had a revolution yet. And you don't want a revolution either. You're not going to win. It's just going to be anarchy and no food and everything's expensive. Like,
you're not
going
to be a war hero. Yeah, you're not going to be a war hero. Yeah, you're not going to be Odysseus.
No, I think Hawk is right when he tells me, like, hey, focus more on the expat content. I think you could do it because, like, Nuke, I 100% agree with you. That is why I left the Netherlands. It's like, no, I'm not voting my way out of this. Every decision that's made is against me, and I have the freedom to walk out. So I took it, and the rest of the people suffer still from learned helplessness. And we can get into learned helplessness after Callie's generous $5 heartfelt. Thank you, Callie. Heartfelt, fine. I'll keep it modern. Think the other side using plasma grenades and blood culch in Halo Red versus Blue. I understood that reference, actually. Did you guys see that the whole Blizzard thing and the Halo thing was all fake? All the accusations just to get,
Of course. Of course, I was in the military, man. I've seen false accusations go all the way to the top, to the CEO of a 5,000 man warship, and I'm telling you, dude. You know why these go through so bad? Because the CEOs don't have time. They don't have time to deal with this. They're just like, all right, you did this, cool. Back to the boardroom. I got a meeting with the investors. They don't have time, man. It's freaking scary. Here's what I have to say about like the Blizzard thing and the men getting screwed over and walking away. If my taxes went towards men, like giving them some kind of like what do you call it, social like welfare, I wouldn't be as mad. You know why? Because men walking away is the only thing that's people are kind of like paying attention to, right? It's not our sexual needs, it's not our job needs. They're just like, oh, men aren't on the plantation, and I'm like, men are doing what they're supposed to. When they feel like it's not worth the squeeze, they walk away. Did I make it? Yes, but I understand why other guys, they don't have the IQ, or they don't have they didn't have a father that told them, hey, stop playing Xbox all day. I get that, but like, or they've never found the red pill, the good red pill. Not that there's a good red pill, but I'm kind of glad that everyone's like, why are men walking away? Like,
I
it's just
love
so
it.
funny to see me. It's just so hilarious. Like, oh, like it's just like, what's 2 + 2 what's 2 + 2? We've been doing calculus equations for years on this, and we can't figure it. You know what? We'll send it to some super genius somewhere else. And then he looks
Rob
at it,
Henderson.
he's just like, yeah, we'll send it to the Scott Galloway. He'll figure it out. Well, it's because women are outshining them. Yeah, let's send it back. Hey, what about this? I'm like, yeah, we figured it out. Hey guys, 100 more men just walked off the plantation. You know,
What
they
do we
gave
do?
up. Yeah. What do
Now-
we got to figure this out. I'm like, it's right
It's-
there. It's
Did you
right
see? Did you see the article saying like, "Oh no, for the first time in history, more women are on payroll"? And I was like, "Now do entrepreneurship."
Yeah.
Silence.
Contract work. Yeah.
Contract work, entrepreneurial businesses, complete silence. Oh, but women are exceeding men on payroll. It's like that's a good thing. I truly think that's a good thing. In all honesty, same as traditional education. Men are falling behind in traditional education. Good. I see this as an absolute win. They're not going into debt. They're not getting bullshit degrees. They're choosing their own direction right now. They're actually going their own way, Nuke. They did it. They're finally doing it. And they're not
And
making horrible YouTube channels about it.
And I breathe a sigh of relief whenever I hear like a huge video game is coming out, and like when GTA 6 comes out, bro, there's no chance of any violence on the streets. You know, because the sedation is so
wouldn't be-
powerful, dude.
I wouldn't be too sure about that. We still don't know
Yeah.
if GTA 6 is going to be good.
Well, they're
Yeah.
gonna play for at least a month to figure it out. So we got a month. We got an extra month. And you know, it's sad. I know we're talking about like men's lives and mental health in a adjusting way, but dude, it's just like, listen, the only way this ever changes, if it ever does, is that one day, society, like data centers start going up in flames, bridges start falling, and they start realizing, hey, we gotta like ship in some electricians from Texas because there was like a hurricane or a typhoon in California or Mexico, and they're like, wait, they're already in Louisiana because there was a flood. So what do we do? There's not enough men to fix this issue. Like we gotta wait. Yeah.
The only thing I hope is that I get a direct contact line with Cappy when it happens, where I just want to hear him. It's like, Cappy, how does it feel? Where it's like everything he ever said, ever wrote, ever predicted finally came to be. It's like, Cappy, this is your moment. What do you have to tell to the world?
Cannot trust Cappy, man. Like the guy who's the happiest he's ever been at the end of the world. You know, like I don't know about that, Jack.
I mean,
He got me cigars though. He got me some good cigars. So
yeah, he'll probably. I think Cappy has like a special cigar box for when it happens, where it's like, finally, I can get it. You know.
Yeah, but going back a few paces, like you're right, like women tend to like and thrive in systems, like rules. Like I go to school, I do these things, I get this degree. I know if I do these things, I get these grades. With these grades and this degree, I can get this job. If I do these metrics this job, I get my annual 6% raise. No conflict, no confrontation. I don't have to negotiate for a salary. I don't have to ask my boss for raises. That's also what I like government work, because you have just like normal grade step scales and never have to negotiate for raises that way. I mean, mean, that's kind of like part of the nature of the pay gap too. That like original like 70% was like because if you're comparing different jobs among the same jobs, the pay gap's closer to 6%. But that 6% is attributable because women don't negotiate for higher starting salaries. They don't ask their boss for raises. They want to just get their annual inflation raise and not have to have that conflict confrontation. Like the ideal system for a woman is this rubric. I go to school, I get these grades, I do these things, I get this job, I do these things at a job, I get annual raises, I progress, and like everything's smooth, no conflict, they excel in the system. And I guess that's kind of that risk adverse nature. Like, us men we'll go out and start a business or write a book or climb a power line and fix it or something, with some yeah, by that disposable sex, but also, we take the risks to keep things going.
Fair.
Yeah.
No, I 100% agree. Real quick, Lee Silver for the generous 5. Thank you so much, Lee. Sorry. I meant to say thank you so much, Lee. There you go. I'm a man, god damn it. Lee Silver for the generous 5. A man buying a burrito doesn't guarantee they won't be broke tomorrow. Funny how these concepts overlap like they're all connected. I know, right? Funny how that works. It's like just because somebody buys something doesn't mean they have money left, But then you get into the whole Klarna generation right now. It's like, I don't know. Hey, look at this guy, Kyle. Kyle, if you're free, I can send you the link if you want. But yeah,
If,
Kyle, skill.
Kyle's in the chat. Kyle's in the chat.
I'll send him the link if he's free. He can join. But yeah, no, Kyle actually has a skill that is helpful. I do want to get into one more thing, though, about the topic, and I think we can fill an hour with that one. For guys who are wondering, like, hey, what the hell is happening here? Like, this guy, NBA player, millions of dollars, been together with her since they were 12, together for 15 years whatsoever. What the hell happened here? Well, in the first half of this podcast, we talked about that, where it's like, okay, yes, hypergamy plays a factor, but hypergamy is a dual-sided coin. It is not a straitjacket. You have the arousal part and you have the comfort part. What tends to happen with guys like this, they tend to lean too much on the comfort part and not enough on the arousal part. The waitress flirting with you is attractive. You flirting with the waitress is unattractive. For an example, as an NFL player, let's say all these cheerleaders were on him and all he did was reject, 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 ignore, 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 just to make his wife feel comfortable. If you've been around, a faction of dread is if you've been around, you might know that pre-selection is a high indicator of arousal for women. So a better strategy to have applied for this guy was to actually be friendly and even to a degree let the cheerleaders be flirtatious with him, creating that indignation in his wife where it's like, wait a minute, other women still want him. I have made the right choice of staying with him because why else would these other women want him? Dread, however, in my humble opinion, is one of those concepts that's often misunderstood where people think you can just implement it whenever you want, where my humble opinion and perspective of it is not something you apply. It is something you are. The word waitress flirting with you doesn't happen because you instill dread all of a sudden. No, that happens because you are an attractive guy. You stopped being unattractive. You killed your COVID contracts. You got rid of your validation seeking behavior, and you've put under the loop why you had these abandonment issues, therefore creating a more attractive, less unattractive man. That to me is dread. It is passive all the way. Now, there might be a version of active dread where you openly state, where it's like, listen, if you won't, someone else will. Very rare that you would actually have to go that far to get the message across. So I want to spend the rest of the time we have a little bit more on dread. And Arch, since you were there even in the days of Blue Pill Professor, when the first book on dread was written, I would love to have your take on this. How does one instill dread? How does one start with that?
It's exactly as you've said. Like, I take the same thing on frame too. That's just a thing of who you are. There aren't skills called frame and skills called dread. Those are just our kind of autistic descriptors for things that are already happening. Like if you're an attractive guy, women hit on you, then that will instill dread automatically. And if you're like, no, 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 I am loyal to my, wife I've been dating since I was 12. I'm traditional Christian this. I'll never do that. I shan't even look at you. It's not so much that like you're making her too comfortable. You're being an unattractive social dumbass. And so she's like, oh, he had a chance with her, but look how he's acting. He's unattractive. And so like, and so there's less dread, not because you're turning the women away so much as because you're acting like an unattractive dumbass. And I mean, and at that point she's like, oh, okay, I picked wrong. I was an unattractive dumbass. Like, dread just, is or isn't. It's not like a skill you're using. When a guy like tells his wife, I guess the classic is fuck me or fuck you. Like, that's, I guess that MRP term call it going Rambo. Like if you do that, especially, before things have hit that point, you're essentially just torching everything for funsies. Like, I mean, there are rare cases where something like that can work, but women really hate the over communication game because that's, again, another sign of social miscalibration, unattractiveness. If you've got to give ultimatums, that's almost like you're pleading. I have no other recourse other than to issue demands. Like that's almost negative dread. She may comply if like all the other dread things are in line, but if you had to get to that point, something's going wrong on getting to that point.
I just realized I made a mistake with my girl today. There were two girls asking for directions, and they walked off, and the girlfriend was kind of like, what? She's like, would you have asked her number if I wasn't here? I'm like, probably not. And now I'm like, I should have said yes. I was like, fuck. Would have been perfect. You think I could have? It's like, why did I miss that?
You just missed a line. Probably not. Your boobs are bigger. Like just one more Barbie would be there.
Yeah. It's like,
just her number. You should have said just her number.
Yeah. It's like, fuck, I missed that. I'm getting rusty.
Yeah.
This relationship thing is getting me rusty.
Something I see with celebrities, it's worthy of noting, is that in this age of Instagram and all that stuff, when there is a famous man attached to a semi-famous girl, the girl tends to feel lost in the fame of her husband. So they kind of act out a little bit. So it's like you see this with like Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo. You see this with other celebrity wives, where like there's even a show like The Wives of Atlanta or Basketball Wives and all that bullshit, right? Yeah, it's just women trying to reconcile the fact that they're not the main character, right? It's really hard for women who every day they're on the side there and their husband's getting all this fame, adoration, respect, and prioritization, and her kids see him as the man and all that stuff, and he's happy, he's living his dreams, and she's just a side thought, right? And I mean thought, not like thought like
you gone thought.
Let's not pretend that that's not going on here too, and that's something that like marriages deal with too. Like at some point you're gonna be much more attractive than your wife. It may be tomorrow, it may be in 10 years, who knows? And how a woman deals with that is a big indication of her character, right? And you can't outright tell her, your wife or your girlfriend, hey, I'm gonna be hotter than you one day. Like that doesn't make sense.
It's necessary that I'm hotter than you. Like I need to you need to look at me better than I look at you.
Yeah, like you're gonna
say like women are always the main character. It's just if they're overshadowed by you, their story's not very good, and that's what pisses them off. Like no one's gonna click on my story. Like they're always the main character.
Yeah, so it's like I honestly, looking at other celebrity sport, relationships, I think it's that. I think it's simply that he was Superman everywhere he went, and she was just Lois Lane, and she never like
Batman.
what. Yeah, and the thing is, if you look at modern superhero movies or modern movies with, why is it that the damsel in distress is right there fighting with the superhero? Every movie's like that. Right? You watch Superman, right? Batman versus Superman. Lois Lane is there in the rubble trying to get Superman back on his feet to fight Doomsday. That shit shouldn't happen, right? Why is a normal human being in the most dangerous place on planet Earth? It's because she was written to be part of the story of the main character, right? And that is I think that's what's happening here. You look at Spider-Man, right? What did what's her name? Who did she
Mary
date?
Jane.
She dated like four of the highest status Chads in the world and fumbled all of them, right? Mary Jane fumbled the
Just
billionaire's
the girl
son,
next door.
the astronaut, Spider-Man, all these people, and she's still unhappy with all of them, right? And Peter Parker, who's literal Spider-Man, is trying to fight, superhumans and try to not lose the ring. That's a female fantasy, right? She is so important to his life that he's holding a ring, pining over his future wife and fighting Green Goblin and trying not to die. That is what is going on here. Hey, why is he not like, why am I not more important? Why is everything else more important than me? Why am I like falling behind? I'm getting uglier every day, right? I need to balance this out. So let me divorce him, take the kids, bring him down a peg, because I was never as important as he was everywhere we go. And I think women have a lot of trouble with that. And she just, she probably came from a rich family where she was a little princess and she was always special. And then all of a sudden he signs a piece of paper and you're married? Who's that in the background? Oh, that's my wife. I love her. Oh, cool. Anyways, welcome aboard. And you think women can handle that very well in the age of Instagram and branding?
The only woman I've ever seen handle it well is Conor McGregor's wife. It's the only one.
Braun's
What's
wife.
his name? Pierce Brosnan's wife too, the chubby girl. Everyone criticizes her for being chubby. Like it. I could see why he married her. If you look at the story, he's a Hollywood star, right? He's James Bond. At least he was for a while. And instead of her chasing fame and all that stuff and being an actress too, she just said, "Whatever you need, honey. I'm sorry your wife died. I'll be here for you." And she chubbed up a little bit, and the guy's cheesing, so happy with her
He
and
loves
everything.
it, dude. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And Wine More Please, he like quoted, I think he quote tweeted when, because it always goes viral when celebrities get posted with their fat wives. He said, honestly, she probably stuck around, didn't, try to steal the limelight, just hung in there. And that's why he doesn't even care if she puts on weight. He's happy as can be. Because really, that's what a high performing famous man needs. Just a girl to be in the background, just to not steal the limelight. And I think that's
and
what
he probably has a bit of like a modicum of game and frame too, right? Like he probably can do a better job of you would think, like we don't know for sure, but I mean, I know that's a huge downfall for a lot of these guys. I mean, there was this woman that came on, we don't do the panel shows much anymore, but legitimately one of the most gorgeous girls I've ever seen, like a legit 10 out of 10. She's like an acrobat, like crazy line of work. She lives in Nashville, but we were me and my other co-hosts were kind of talking after the show, after everybody had kind of gone home, and it's like, man, she's so screwed, and it's not even her fault because she's so good looking and she's so the guy that she wants doesn't exist because she's dated like IFBB pros. She's dated extremely high performing, successful athletes and doctors and all of these guys. And they all just laid down like a doormat for her. There wasn't a single one that treated her in the way where he was better than her and that he was leading the relationship. And so it's like, there doesn't exist a man high enough on that totem pole that's also going to, because yeah, Jack, you could be, but it's like,
I'm listening.
You're not pulling in like 200 million, right? So it's like,
I won't need to.
Will that be enough to overcome? Maybe it will be. I don't know. So I think there are maybe some of these women that are in this sort of no man's land where there's just going to be some deficit on the coin of hypergamy. So yeah, but as far that's what the Mary Jane thing reminded me of. It's like all of these guys who are these superheroes are just laying the red carpet out and lying down on the puddle so she can walk over him, and she's still not happy. So yeah, it's sometimes to no fault of their own.
Yeah, the trick is you lay her in the puddle so your shoes don't get messy.
And if my shoes are clean, she's happy, even if she's
exactly, acts of service. That's my love language. Speaking of love language, Callie for the $2.01 super chat. A good segue. I don't know what is. Why contain it in Deus Ex? Why would we? Why would we contain it, Callie? Why would we? No, but I do understand what you're saying because, first of all, a woman like that, if she is a high-level athlete, all she hangs out with is high rollers. The problem is finance and fame is no replacement for game and frame. It just isn't. And I know that rhymes. That wasn't the intent, but I mean, why not? It rolls off the tongue. A lot of guys can act as alpha as you can imagine in business, like cutthroat and just put my foot down, whatever. And as soon as a woman is involved, all of that just goes out the window because we need to keep the woman happy. The hell happy life, happy wife nonsense that we've been indoctrinated with ever since childhood. And that's why I think when you mentioned that this NFL player's girl, probably princess treatment, I don't know, Eastern Europe, what was it, Slovenia or something? I'm not 100% sure about that, but it could be maybe only child, whatever. Maybe her parents were good. But in general, in Eastern Europe, yes, the women want the princess treatment to the outside world, but inside, it's.
The thing is, like, motherhood and being a mom is low status, and she thought that, hey, if I hitch my wagon to this guy, I'm already in love with him. I would be like Cristiano Ronaldo's wife. Because okay, the way women are, right, is that they don't compare themselves to the average woman. They compare themselves to other women at their level and higher, right? So it's just like, okay, I got a world class NBA athlete. I don't know if he's a champion, but he almost champion. And he's back in my country, he's a number one athlete in the world, right? Like he is the guy. Like he comes home and there's going to be a statue of him. So I should have a life or the same level of adoration as Cristiano Ronaldo's wife or Messi's wife or this person's wife. Why am I still not at that level? Why don't I get that? Right? Could be. I'm just saying could be. And she's not competing against men or anything. She's competing against those women, right? So she sees all opportunities and all that stuff, and she realizes I could get better life and more adoration from divorcing this guy than I can being a wife. Because what's a role of a woman? What's her role? Like, what does she do? Like, mother? You have 14 nannies, you know? Like, what do you even do all day if you're getting $70 million a year or every 2 years? Like, what do you do as a woman? Like, what do you do? Your role is like outsourced to everything else. What are you gonna do, right? He knows what he has to do, but does she? You know?
Well, apparently not. I was wondering why she wanted the 50 million, and I tried to look it up, but I can't find a legit reason. It's like, yeah, 10 million for the kids and 40 million for me. It's like, why? You weren't even married. They were engaged, not even married. That could have been a thing too, that the marriage took too long. Women don't tend to like that all too much, where it's like, hey, we're gonna get married or not. But now, all of a sudden, like, yeah, 50 million, even though not married. But they did have the kids. So it's like, yeah, a little bit.
It was a lawyer. It was a lawyer
Yeah.
that told her she doesn't know money. Like her lawyer told her, okay, this case is gonna pay for the next 3 years of my life. So ask for this. I think it's a lawyer in her ear. Like girls would be like, maybe she didn't even want that much money. She's like, I'll take $1 million. But the lawyer said, no,
we're getting 50.
you take 50.
Like,
yeah, we're getting
Well,
50.
that is also a thing that guys need to be
March
wary
would know
of.
about that. March would know about that. I don't know about that, but that's
Yeah.
what
Yeah. Every lawyer will say like my first wife divorced me, and she went to her lawyer. She's like, we already got this settled. We're gonna do 50-50 custody with the kid. We were coming up with some numbers already. And the lawyer's like, there's no way you're walking out of my office without getting the house. And she's like, I don't want the house. I can't afford it. We can fix that too. And she's like, no, we worked on this. Like, and she ended up getting a different lawyer, but like, just that idea. I mean, like, why settle for this? I can get you more. Don't you want to get the most? And maybe, for people who hate each other, there's bad blood there that works. And I don't know how this woman felt about the guy she's known since she was 12. I mean, hopefully there's some goodwill remaining there. I mean, but also, like, this is like the next chapter in her life. She's been living in his shadow. She's been wife and mother, like New says. That's kind of low status. I mean, anyone could be a wife and mother. Well, she's this guy's wife and mother, but that wasn't giving her what she was looking for. So now this poor woman who's now divorced, or I guess not divorced, broken up, and raising the kids alone, and she needs this guy's money to make ends meet because she's saddled with childcare and is somehow going to have to figure it out with a mere $50 million. Like, that's the next chapter of her story. And I mean, she's the main character, so this is a good story now. Now it's interesting. I wasn't looking at her when she was with the wife and mother. Now I know her story, so I mean, wonder what she'll do next.
And it's clearly prevalent enough that movies and shows have been made depicting that. As far as, like, I can think of two off the top of my head, like Marriage Story, right? That movie, it was like Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson. It's like, hey, we're gonna do things really amicably, 50-50. We've already figured it out. She goes into and it's just like, she gets pressured into going into a law office and she didn't even want to. I think this is how it goes. And then the lawyer's like, yeah, this is not enough, right? We're going to get more. Or even though like Liar Liar with Jim Carrey is more of a comedy, the whole spin, but the whole arc is like you were married to a workaholic who was never around for you and you were driven into the arms of another man, you're the victim. And it's like, yeah, a lot of these women are not coming up with this shit on their own. They're just going into the local attorney's office and they're just trying to be like, all right, like rack it up. Let's see how high and far we can go.
Yeah.
Talking to a guy on Twitter like Bowtied Kong, because I think that's what he does. I think he's a family lawyer, so he's always got good stuff to read. But yeah, it's clearly prevalent enough where it's not just something we're just making up. There's a stereotype for a reason.
Never trust a lawyer, I always say.
As a lawyer, you have a duty to essentially be the best possible advocate for your client. So if a woman comes into your office, says, I want this, you are obligated to tell her, yes, but you could get more. You are voluntarily getting less than you could. As your lawyer, I have to tell you this. And
Sure.
so, you know, and you have to, I mean, I guess, pressure in, which says, no, I understand, but I absolutely want this. Doing what your client wants is supposed to be the ethical thing to do, but you have to tell her I can get you more, and then let her choose.
And yeah,
not
maybe
to.
they just don't know. Maybe they just go, oh, okay, well then let's do that, right? Like maybe they just don't know coming in. So there could be a number of things, yeah, but that makes sense. It's like fiduciary responsibility almost.
Yeah, like I'm willing to bet that a lot of the times women don't want to destroy the husband, right? I think they just want to teach him a lesson, maybe depending on how it went. Like I could see a lot of like bad blood and a lot of anger because, you know, for example, he has a new hot girlfriend, right? And she's like, wait a minute, no, hell no, I'm going to destroy this guy. But
It's like,
I've
yeah, dude,
seen
just
a
wait
lot of
until it's finalized before you do that. For the love of God,
yeah,
just keep everything under wraps, right? Don't look too happy in your photos. Like, don't buy a Corvette, right? Like,
I get rid of social media altogether just in case or
just go
something.
ghost.
But
yeah.
like, yeah, but the thing is, like, it's just a lot of women don't. It just doesn't feel like they want to destroy you. They have a lawyer in their ear telling them like, hey, you know, like you could do better, you can do more, blah blah. But at the same time, shouldn't a woman be able to look at this and be like, if I make this guy into mush, wouldn't that make my life harder down the road? Like money doesn't replace a guy that picks up the kids when I have an extra shift to do or I have this going on or something, right? I that part I never understood. Like even if you
I
don't
don't
like
think
the guy
anybody's telling
anymore,
them that. I don't
yeah,
think they're
like
getting
don't
that
just
advice from anyone.
yeah,
It's just women that are like, go get more. There's a bunch of dudes out there. He doesn't deserve you. Like you're enough, queen.
destroy him, ruin
It's
his
all
life.
so yeah, it's all socially reinforced. There's no one out there that's like, hey, this is gonna suck for you. Like if you obliterate this guy and you ruin the relationship you have with your children's father, like the reality is there's very few men that are going to be out there willing to pick up the slack. And the ones that are, you're not going to want to deal with them anyway.
Yeah.
Mm.
And also like, yeah, I get it. Like you shouldn't be in an unhappy marriage just for the kids, but like what you're doing is like you're forcing the kids to choose you or her, right? Like why force the kids to like because it's going to be very antagonistic. So the kids are going to have to choose: was my dad the asshole or was my mom? And it may take them decades to figure that out. You know, so it's like
If a
I
woman
don't
really hates you,
understand
though,
that.
Nuke, like if she hates you, she is going to want you to suffer because she feels like she's been maligned. I mean, I guess if we think, what is a female utopia outside of divorce? It would be he is hurt and impoverished enough that he is not dateable anymore, but he doesn't get fired because I need child support and he lives in an okay place who can pick up the kids and help with childcare. I just want to be undateable so he can continue to be my slave for the rest of existence, but I still want his money. Like that's like the woman utopia, and that's hard to get exactly that. But like if she hates your guts, she's mad at you. Like she wants you to hurt. She's not thinking like let's not destroy him because it's I want a good relationship with his kids or something. Like that's not a part of her calculus.
Yeah, I guess. Never hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. I guess.
I
Yeah.
mean, let's be honest here. The perfect female utopia is The Handmaid's Tale. They can't shut the hell up about that.
What if
Yeah,
they
let's
what
be
if they
honest.
take us against their what if they make us have babies against their will? Let's write
Oh
4 books
no.
about this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
Let's
let's
write
make
no.
all our books
You're
about
not gonna
this.
hold me down and take what you want from me, are you? Oh
yeah,
no.
and let's
Like, oh.
cosplay as it all the time, as in protest. We're gonna protest at it. Whatever. Lee Silver for the generous 5. Thank you so much, Lee. Appreciate that, Lee Silver, for the 5. I remember a guy in VT say he and his ex told a judge they wanted to change things to 50-50 mid-divorce. Judge said no. They were in too deep legally. Dude, there's a documentary on YouTube called Divorce Court or something like that. It's a whole documentary about divorce court and the industrial complex behind it. You know, it is insane. And it's nice that we actually hit upon this today, that a majority of these things that you see out there, it might not even be the women, because all the comments right now under that story on Twitter are like, women are vicious whores, women only care about your money, women only do this, blah, 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 blah. And yet we'll get a lot of engagement on this show, but that's not what this is about. This is about actionable advice. This is about what reality really is. Now, of course, we can't look into this marriage. We can't. We're speculating here. We're kind of navel gazing, but we are also drawing from stories and notes that have been swapped through the years on the Red Pill Reddit about guys who got divorced, even if they married their high school sweetheart. Things that happen: lack of indignation, being unattractive, leaning too much on your wealth for attraction. Things we've gone over. And now we're getting into the part of like, yeah, what if you find yourself in that position? Then the lawyers, they don't see you as clients, at least not in divorce court. You are a cash cow to them, because the more she can extort from you, the more the lawyer gets paid.
Along
Literally
those
that,
lines,
guys.
Jack, little known fact, every child support check that they garnish from your paycheck that goes through your state dispersal office, state takes a cut too. It's incentivized, like, there's a whole industry around this thing. Like, everybody's getting a piece, but yeah, you're right. The lawyers, like, if I get a third of the wife's cash settlement in the divorce, I want her to get every damn dollar she can.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, it's all you are the thing everyone's sucking off of. You are the teat.
That's the one. Thanks, Grim. Divorce Incorporated.
Yeah. So I mean, the best thing, honestly, stay attractive, guys. Like Jack said, money's not a replacement for, like, money doesn't make women feel anything. It just makes them more entitled. If you give them $100, then the next day they'll want $100. If you give them $5, then they'll want $5. Are there some women that have been getting $100 from their men, and when you give them $5, they're gonna be like, no thanks? Yes, but that's the point of dating. It's to filter out women that aren't into you, right? Um, and for what it's worth, I would say if you're gonna give women stuff, uh, ask yourself, if she left tomorrow, would I still be okay with this?
Mhm.
Would I still be? Would it ruin my perception of her and women in general if this woman took what I gave her and ran away tomorrow? You know what I'm saying? Like, then you have a serious issue with, hey, you're trying to replace hot guy with blue pill guy, or sorry, beta guy. So you can't there guys what guys gotta understand is that one will never replace the other, right? You telling a girl that one of her boobs is bigger than the other and laughing will never. $100 can't replace that. $200 can't replace that. $1,000,000 can't replace that. Like, if Kaká, the famous soccer player who got divorced because he was too perfect, if he just pushed his wife into a bush once a month, he would have been married still. I'm willing to bet. Just push her into a nice soft bush, no thorns, just like, George Bush, boom, and push her, right? Like high school kids do. She wouldn't be mad at him for 2 hours, but she would be like, wow, what an asshole. I like this, right? Subconsciously. And that's what I'm saying. It's not that you never be beta or never be alpha. It's just like, you have to understand that one is not replaced by the other. One is necessary and the other is necessary and indifferent, mostly alpha, right, hopefully, but you need the beta, right? Because you're not going to be an asshole to your wife 100% of the time. You need to be nice. She's your wife. She loves you, and your kids too. But also, you can't replace one with the other, right? I know this because I would ask my dad to be nice to me, and he was just an asshole. And then and I'd be like, "Hey, Dad," like, and then eventually he was just like, "Damn, I really gotta chill." And the other way around, like you can't be bait all the time and expect people to respect you and love you just because you're a nice guy. Like, it doesn't work. So
That's
as
why
long
I
as you
like.
know that the dualistic nature of hypergamy, alpha is alpha and beta is beta. Like I know Andrew Tate gets a cigar and says, "You're broke and I got a Bugatti," blah blah. That's still the beta side of hypergamy.
This is why I like arousal
counts.
and comfort more, in all honesty. And I know like alpha beta are the like container words right now.
I like that
But
too, but
yeah,
it doesn't
I'm
ring as
kind of
much.
in the
Yeah.
camp of Ryan where it's like arousal and comfort. Arousal wins every time. Like every time. If you lean too much on comfort, that's when this shit is gonna happen. You are better off having her actually pissed off at you because you're too arousing to everybody around you, than being comfortable and boring. It's just the fact.
I think it's one of the parts that TRP gets a bad rap for, and a lot of guys, because most guys are almost irretrievably on the beta side, at least till they find the material, and then it's an overcorrection. Then it's just like pedal to the metal alpha, right? Now it's just women only like complete assholes, and they can get them laid and that sort of thing. But most guys that I speak to, and I think most guys in general, still want long-term relationships, and they want to be with women, they want to have kids, that whole thing. Like, I don't know that I think that there's this idea that there's far more perpetual plate spinning bachelors out there than there actually are. I think they're few and far between. I think most guys are going to eventually settle down, and that's what they want to do. And so that's the thing that these guys have to realize, and eventually. And it was so funny, like Arch was talking earlier about this kid, like at the new toy. It's like the kid getting his first boner. He wants to tell everybody about it. It's like the coolest thing ever. He's like, "Hey, look at this great thing that I like." And you can tell it's like, so because I did that shit too. Like we all kind of did,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Mhm.
We all just want to tell everybody, and we just want to show our shiny new toy. And it's just like, okay, you'll figure it out. But that's it's kind of like a funnel, right? You start at the top, and it's this brand new thing, and then you realize, like, oh, now I can't be beta, I have to be super alpha, and you realize there are some girls that you will lose, and I've lost women because I didn't work in any of the comfort. It was just all physical, all alpha, all dismissive, all aloof, all the time, even with women I really liked, and I wanted to have a longer, maybe casual relationship with, and it was just, I was like, and then some of those when they bounce, I was like, damn, that sucks. I actually like that girl. And so then you start to calibrate and say, okay, well, what am I, missing? Maybe it's not that I wouldn't get serious with her and I wouldn't commit to her, but it's that I didn't make her feel enough like she was in a relationship. She felt like she was just,
Yeah.
with the hot guy. And so, yeah, there's a lot more nuance to this than a lot of people know, but it's so few guys even get that far down the funnel where it even makes sense to talk about it.
Yeah.
I actually
So the
had to
word
hit up
beta.
Ryan.
Oh,
Hold
go
on.
ahead, Jack.
I actually had to hit up Ryan like a couple of years ago where it's like, Hey, Ryan, I can get the dates, same night lays, blah, 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 1 or 2 dates out of it. And then it's just done. Like, wait, what? And, I got enough positive feedback, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know how to handle this. He's like, do you kick them out of the house every time you get done with them? I'm like, yeah. He's like, try to let them stay over every now and then. I'm like, oh.
There's a
And
psychological
that
component too,
actually
though.
worked.
Yeah.
Like guys start out like, I can't get laid, I'm pissed at women, and you find this red pill stuff, and like you're first, like when you finally you start getting laid, you're like, I'm never going back. They're never gonna hurt me again. And so like you get in that you don't want to show them any vulnerability when you take a risk. I actually like this one, but you don't know if she wants a relationship or she's just screwing around. A lot of women just want to screw around too, and so like so you got to put it out there. You got to be a little nicer. You got to act like a relationship. That's being vulnerable again. And take a guy who's been like hurt by women, rejected for 20 plus years. He finally turns it around. He's the powerful one. And you're saying now you got to be a little vulnerable. Now you got to go back and put them in a little bit of control and let them judge you and see if they want that with you. Like that's a big ask for a lot of guys. Like a lot of them aren't over it and there yet.
Yeah.
No.
Well, personally speaking, I tell guys this, like in long-term casual relationships, that is the least amount of alpha you will ever need to display for a girl, right? Like in a relationship where she wants to like marry you one day, that is like you need the alpha. Like you need to be alpha because she is with you for the long haul and she's going to try to wear you down. But for girls that are like just need someone to date while they're looking for their boyfriend, dude, I would just be the beta boyfriend, right? Hold her hand. I would, pay for her drinks. I didn't do anything too egregious. Like, man, we'd go for dinner, but I mean, we've been hooking up for 3 months. I was like, whatever, I'm hungry. But it was just a boyfriend all the way. She didn't act like, and the thing I was like, oh, eventually she's gonna like get unattracted to me and not want to. No, 8 months, girls would every 10 days she would just show up, and and it's just because they needed to play girlfriend so bad. Like, as women are cooperative creatures. Like, I know we see all these transactional women on the internet and say, I don't do nothing and I'm gonna go bang 50 guys, I don't care. But the average girl, like, she will sleep around, but like an average, like, humans are cooperative creatures. She feels good when she does things for guys, especially guys that are attractive and also treat her good. So don't be surprised when you're in a long-term casual relationships and she'll say, I don't want a relationship, but she's making you brownies. Don't be surprised when that happens because she's playing house. She needs to do that because it's a human need to do things for nice people. And there are going to be times where she's going to fight the urge to want to, consolidate on you. She knows you're not going to stick around. She knows that you have higher standards than the average man. She will cook you brownies, and it's going to be hard because one day she'll like ask you to jump her car and she'll see your forearms glistening in the heat, right? She puts you to work. You're happily trying to jump the car. You're like, whatever. This is what men do. I do this for anyone. And she's going to be having an internal conflict where it's like, wow, I went on a date with a guy who couldn't even plan the date. And this guy showed up to jump my car, pat me on the head, kiss me on the cheek and say, hey, you need to get a new battery. Have a nice day. Like, let them deal with that. But you don't need to up the alpha when a girl, like, girls will choose your role. Just play your role and you will get laid,
Speaking of getting laid, Callie for the generous 5. There we go. Kelly for the generous 5. Heartfelt on the kids. If they don't like it, they can always get a second job and eat slop. What are they going to do? Read on women? Work out? Well, those are productive things to do with your time. Like, Arch, Nuke, do you have a copy of your book there? Just show it, man.
I just read it on Kindle. I don't read real. I haven't owned a real book in like years.
No? You don't even own your own book?
No, I got the proof copy from the author, but yeah, I just read all my books on
Yeah,
Kindle.
well, where is it? Show it. Show the damn thing.
Like it's on my phone.
Oh, yeah, okay, fair. Fair. We can't do. I'm waiting for Nuke. We need to see it. Moff, you need to get one too. Start writing.
All right, done.
Well, start with a Substack. That's how I did it. One
Right.
essay every week. Started with 1,000 words, then one became 1,500, then 2. There it is. Show that off, buddy. Look at that.
Okay, dude, that looks amazing. I'm jealous.
Wow, it actually looks great.
Dude, I used ChatGPT to make the cover, but it took me two to 3 weeks of prompting and fixing, and like I should have just done it myself by hand and took an art class. Really, AI is not the thing that's going to make your life easier. It just makes more work for you most of the time, unless it's like a quick task.
I mean, it can do a really good front cover, but then you're like, okay, here's your front cover you just made 5 seconds ago. Make a spine cover that matches it. It fucks that shit up. I'm like, but you just drew it 5 seconds ago.
It took
It's
me
beautiful.
just for the spine to get the spine right. It took me 3 hours going back and forth. Like, guys, just pay somebody or learn art yourself. I thought I could outsmart the system, and I love it. Like this, I want it to sit next to. I want it to be more interesting than just bold words like when like dating and how to
Yeah.
have sex, bold letters and black and white. I'm like, no, dude, like enough with that shit. Like your
Same.
brain can process a little bit more. Stop being lazy. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
they're gonna look great next to each other. That is gonna be cool. I
Hey,
can't
that's
wait.
what she said.
Hey, I can't wait to have my copy of your book. Do you have
And
them
then on
next
the
to
back,
each other? Oh, nice. Look at that. They
she still
actually
has a
got
gun, though.
together in the end.
Yeah. So yeah,
Spoiler.
thanks for the compliments, guys. It wasn't me that drew this, but it took me weeks to get this cover right. So hopefully you guys put it on your coffee table at least for a month, and then maybe put Archwingers after me. You know, cycle us through, right? Get us through the door and all that stuff.
Then I.
Under girl
Yeah.
rules, you did draw that cover. Like you use a tool, you told the tool to do it, and the tool did it, and so really you solved the problem.
Yeah, it was just a lot more work than I thought. Like it kind of gave me a different perspective on AI. Um, I don't like that people think that AI is just some kind of like problem solving thing that you could just computer do this for me. No, it take like I was racking my brain for hours trying to get a lot of this stuff on this book, and it taught me a lot about how to use AI properly. And really, if you use AI for writing, just use it for proofreading. It will flatten the fuck out of your writing. You will look at it and be like, did like Scott Galloway write this? This is the flattest, most boring shit.
It's because
It's
AI.
informative.
I
Yeah.
had this weird experience. Like AI, like I have it, edit things. Its suggestions for how to fix sentences were dog shit. But it drew my
Mhm.
attention to sentences I could have done a better job writing, and so I'm like, okay, I can
Mhm.
tweak that. But what you said, every time I end up doing what I did, it accidentally got something right. But my scariest experience with AI is like, it says you should do this chapter this way. I'm like, you know what? Go for it. Write that chapter in my style. And it would write the chapter, and it was close enough to my style that my wife would be fooled. I would, but my wife would think I wrote that. Because what is style? Style is just language patterns. But the content was absolute dog shit. Like, why to do this? Why do that? Like, it can't make good decisions on what to put in things. But style, like, it could mimic a creative writer pretty well. What am I looking at?
No, I just number 47. Mainstream dating advice is about 10 years behind. So,
True.
um,
And here we
yeah,
are.
I want to thank all of you guys. A lot of your guys' ideas are in here. So, um, I've learned more about dating. Uh, I learned most of my dating actually talking to real women. blows people's minds. What? You learn how to talk to women by talking to women? Correct. But a lot of the conceptualization, it doesn't happen unless other guys kind of like reconfirm it or put it into better, more concise words. And honestly, I think I have a chapter on this. The academics, I know Rolla will say otherwise, but I think they hate us because we put things that they took hours or years to study into one sentence. And they fucking hate that. She's not yours, just your turn. They'll have like 40 studies on how women are like moving on from marriage or divorce more, blah, blah. And we're like, yeah, she's not yours, just your turn, bro. They're like, but wait,
They lose it. No, like, yeah, like you have to. Yeah.
yeah. Some
Like,
guy,
no, you have to get your doctorate to be able to speak on it.
Yeah,
it's
you know
like the
that
gatekeeping
gopher
thing.
meme? Like,
yeah.
that's how they look
Um,
like.
I mean, all the
We have an
academics
answer
though,
for
like
everything.
no, we're all humans here. Like women aren't coin operated machines. They don't execute computer code. We don't either. Like nothing's gonna fit the mold. Like you can read all this stupid red pill content and do books all day and improve yourself, but in the end, when you go out and talk to a girl, she's not gonna fit the mold exactly. Like no one can give you a script, what to say and what to do. But like you talk to 10 women, 100 women, however many it takes, and you're like, oh, this is kind of like that thing I read, comma, but it's more like this with this girl and more like this with this other girl. Like, and that's kind of the internal calibration. That's what you're learning. But like, all the academics can do is teach you kind of the ballpark, and at that point, you've got to go in there and like do the reps.
Yeah.
Let's see. There we go. No, it kind of does come down to all of that. Let's see.
I like this one too. This chapter
Which
is pretty
one?
awesome. Game works on healthy women. Oh, that was a good-
Really? Wasn't it Fort Worth who once stated game doesn't work on broken women?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
you
said
said that
game
before,
works
yeah.
on health. Yeah.
Nice.
Game works on healthy women.
Yeah, fair.
A psychologically healthy woman wants to be gamed. That's such a I know I didn't put a lot of weight in that sentence, but guys got to understand. Girls want charming men. Like, yes, it sounds like manipulation on paper, but when you tell a girl a half truth and she smiles, what she's thinking is this guy fucking gets it. Thank fucking God. Every guy has told me what they do for a living, and this guy says he takes out trash. Can I take you out? Something smooth or silly like that. You get it. Sorry, I got a little passionate there. My bad.
Well,
I get
imagine,
it.
imagine you're writing her story, like, and she's the main character. You made that chapter good. If it's like, and he said he
Yeah.
was a lawyer, like, that's not a good story. She wants to be in a good story, not a crappy story.
Yeah.
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 Well, I know the feel, man. I know the feel. It feels good. The holding your own book. It's like I made this. It's like Let's see. We got one more. Lee Silver for the generous 5. Thank you so much, Lee. Thank you, all you guys, by the way. Very generous today. There we go. Lee Silver for the 5. Can confirm what Nuke said. Shared a quote by Rolo with an academic friend of mine. He argued with it, then explained why it's valid in his own words.
Every time they do this, every time. No wonder Rolo's gonna rip his hair. You know what? Rolo didn't lose it. Rolo ripped his hair out, bro. Because imagine you put it. We all have these phrases. Like Arch has some zingers that are like, "We'll get you 100,000 views on social media," because guys are like, "Yeah, it's just that. It's exactly that." I'm like, "Yeah, you don't." You pack everything in small packaging. You add water to it. It's like a chia seed. It just blows up into something more complicated. But guys don't need the complicated stuff. They need the oversimplification, and then they fill it with their own experiences. That's the point. But academia does it the other way. Let's get this really simple thing overcomplicated, and then watch academia re-explain what you just said, but with their own jargon. It's beautiful.
And then we
Every
come up
time,
with
it's
one
great.
sentence, and academia goes like this.
Exactly.
We drive them mad. I'm so happy I found that one. Yes, I have it. You once asked me how many clips do I have, Nuke? You don't want to know. I have
Yeah,
so many.
I gotta get more.
I mean,
have
there
so
could be
many-
like board certified psychiatrists or something who study relationships and dynamics, putting like lectures on YouTube, and then it's like some bald guy with a flashy car, so it puts on like aviator sunglasses and yells in a microphone. We'll get 1 million hits, and like this like psychiatrist, like no one cares what he has to say, and he's like the actual credentialed expert.
Dude, not to shit on. I know what I'm not gonna say. I won't mention names, but there was an accredited psychologist in this space once, who actually had his own clinic and, approved by the APA. Meanwhile, Sergeant Slaughter of the Manosphere comes out with a body language mastery course, helping more men get their dating lives and psychology in order, making $1 million, while he had been in the trade for 20 years, maybe getting a dozen clients. Well, more than a dozen clients. I'm underselling him, but
Not
the
$1
point
million.
was,
Yeah, but not $1 million. Yeah.
yeah, Sergeant Slaughter of the Manosphere made $1 million, and he was still on the payroll. It's like, what the hell? He was so pissed. He didn't understand it. It's like, what are you gonna do? This is what a lot of people get wrong with like writing books as well. You're not an author. You're a marketer. Congratulations. You have now written a book. Time to market that shit.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
mhm.
what do you say we wrap this one up and plug our shit? Or do we have any? Do we have any closing thoughts? We need to
Let's
stay.
let Arch. Let's let Arch take this one home, and then we'll plug our stuff, our little
Yeah.
cute little books, our little coloring books.
Ah.
Our little project.
Yeah,
Our
so
little project.
closing thoughts. Nuke really hit it best. Just be attractive, stay attractive. I mean, and that is the best way. Look, guys always ask, how can I, make this relationship, what they find funny ways of saying it, but what they're really asking is, how do I make this relationship last forever? How can I have a forever relationship full of love, sex, and respect? And the answer is you can't. If humans lived 1,000 years, the divorce rate would be 100%. The win condition for a good marriage is you got lucky and died before she divorced you. But other than that, all relationships end. It is always just your turn. You can extend your turn by staying as attractive as you can. It's going to end eventually. You can't escalate forever, or she gets too comfortable, but eventually, it's going to end. But yeah, stay attractive. Don't be unattractive. That's the best you can do. And if you screw it up, don't take it too hard. There's 4 billion women out there, and you'll find another.
I find those very soothing and positive closing thoughts of this show, actually. I think we brought it home well. Time to plug our shit. Nuke, you go first.
Well, guys, The Art of Dating is now out. The Kindle version just came out last night or this morning. Sorry, I had some issues with the Kindle version, but it's out now for you guys that are don't like to buy the original or paperback copy. It's great. It's 100 lessons. It's very inspiring, very informative, very human. I'm getting tired of the whole, mechanical red pill stuff. I wanted to add a little bit of humanity into it. Not the lame humanity, like the good humanity, the cool humanity, right? This is all you need. If you're dating, This is all you need. Obviously, there's other resources, but this is all you need. I stand by that. Good luck out there, and thank you guys for your support.
Okay. Let's see. Where are you? Moff, go ahead.
Oh God, I don't have anything personally to promote. Follow me on my socials, Instagram, X, and YouTube. If there's anything I'm going to plug, is that my head coach, and good friend Billy Quarantillo is fighting tonight, and he's the co-main event on the UFC Fight Night. So tune into that, Paramount Plus, 9 p.m. Show some support. He's looking to bounce back after a couple hard losses. So yeah, just we'll have a lot of our guys watching that, and he's a good guy, so we'll be rooting for him.
Okay. Awesome. At Chris Moffat, guys, his handle is in his username right there. Then where are you? There you are. Arch, Mr. Miles Brooks.
Oh yeah, so that's my pen name, Miles Brooks. I don't have a cool author copy yet. I've ordered some, but my book is Wait, What Was the Question? I was actually inspired by Ryan Stone. He wrote a real fiction book. Actually, he's written like 3 real fiction books now. I'm a little jealous, but I skipped the whole manosphere step. It's a work of fiction. It will not make you better at dating. It might make you worse if you try to follow it. But if you learn anything from the book, that's your fault. It's totally just an entertaining read. It follows the tale of a divorced dad. He's navigating dating. He's got some substance abuse issues, but he doesn't really come clean about that. He's got a daughter. He's learning how to co-parent. He goes to therapy, and you get the money shot in the end. But the whole book is, just this guy, a Gen X latchkey kid who was raised by boomer parents, having trouble connecting with humans, and by the end, he gets marginally better, and he goes on to have a marginally normal-ish life. So, great work of fiction. You will see some red pill ideas throughout the book because, I'm the one who wrote it, but it's not meant to teach you anything. It's just a good read.
Nice. Awesome. There we go. And then me, myself, and I. On Women is now out on paperback, Kindle, and audio, narrated by me, myself. Available since last week. Finally, the audiobook is out. You can go check that out via Amazon in the link in the live chat comments section description down below. And if you want more of my work and the ideas we discuss on this channel, you can go to jacknapier.substack.com, where not only you will get over 100 essays, you will get new essays every week, 4 free audiobooks, including On Women, private community, and a monthly Q&A regarding anything fitness, finance, and dating related. Then I have 2 more super chats right off the bat. There we go. Callie for the $2.01. Thank you very much, sir. Where is it? There you go. Callie for the $2.01. I'm only here for the chaos. Eat at Joe's. I've never been to Joe's, but it sounds good. And then 1 more $2.01. Thank you so much, Callie. Arch, you are a lawyer. You can sue Couch to oblivion.
Ironically, Couch, he's like the first guy in my book I thank. So, he was my inspiration. So I guess it's the opposite of suing, right?
Who would want to sue Couch anyway? And Nuke just hit 1 million views total on YouTube. Congrats, buddy. There you go.
Thanks.
I want to thank all the generous donators of the morning Chat Whistler Stroke. Callie, Lee, Callie, and Callie, thank you so much for all the generous donations during this show this morning. Guys, have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for tuning into Rule Zero, and we'll see you guys next time. As it is looking right now, Moff is hosting next week, so that's going to be fun. If you're still free, let us know in advance, and otherwise it's probably Nuke or Rolo who's going to host.
Yep.
So
Looking
we'll
forward to
see
it.
you next time. Cheers, boys, and